It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction video 216. In the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters, my people, I'm back once again, baby, on the same day. I can't remember the last time that I recorded 2 reaction videos on the same day and gave them to y'all. And it's a very, very, very special reason that I'm doing this. Because after I finished recording the Mr. Ball and shit and was going back to my room to edit it, I go on YouTube and I see that this man has put out a video today on a Sunday out of nowhere. This was a complete shock to me. And this man right here is a man. He's a myth. And he's also a legend. And we talking about Mike from That Chapter. That Chapter, y'all. Mike has put out a video on a Sunday. And like I said, it was just so shocking because I can't remember the last time Mike put out a video on a Sunday. It came out of nowhere. And on top of that, check the title of the video out. 3 shocking crimes and the insane reasons why. I never, y'all, since I've been watching Mike, have seen him cover 3 different crimes in one video. All his videos that I can remember, he always just focused on that one story and that was it. He never did a top 3 like Mr. Ball and top 3 places you can't go. Or like Dive Trip, 8 in bizarre shocking crimes. You know what I'm saying? It always just been one story. And this man giving us 3. And this is his 3rd time posting within a 7-day time frame, within a week time frame for real. And for the past couple of weeks, I've been seeing him putting out more videos. Like, he been putting out 2-3 videos, y'all. Like, he really seemed like he going hard, amping his videos up, amping the content up, giving more content to y'all. And it's motivation to me to give more content to y'all for real. He motivating me by doing what he doing. I digress. We gonna go and get into the story, man. Y'all can see I'm hyped. This is my 3rd video of the day. If you ain't checked out, let me talk to you. Does God Exist video, episode 3. I just put out the Mr. Ballin video a little earlier. And this is Mike. This is my 3rd one, y'all. This is the first time I think I put out 3 videos in one day, and I don't know how long. Let me stop. Let's get into the video. But before we get into the video, my brothers and sisters, you know what you got to do. Get whatever you may need. Get what you need. We in for a special treat. We got Mike from That Chapter on a Sunday. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in the year 2000, a man named Alan Southern, he arrived to his home after a long day of work. He lived in South Carolina, and he shared that home with his wife and his son. But when he arrived home, he found the house eerily quiet, and there was an awful sight waiting for him just in the front yard. When the police investigation, sprang up, the investigators would initially look at Alan as a person of interest, but it would eventually turn out to be a guy who lived just 3 miles down the road. And the reason he did this, well folks, listen, I've been telling these kind of stories for quite a few years now, and the motives behind this one, they shocked even me. So fair warning when I get to the final story in 3 shocking crimes and the insane reasons why. Before we get into it, if you would like to see new crime stories every week, please subscribe, because this is all about That Chapter. And this is one of the wilder ones I've done in a bit. Like, real insane. This ain't your daddy's murder story. Now let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. And get whatever you may need. Hello Kitty, bro.
First, we are going to Hong Kong to tell the story of Fan Man Yi, a woman who led an incredibly tragic life, which led to an even more tragic and horrific end. For what? I mean, the reason, is there really ever, a reason good enough to do some of this horrific stuff that we see? I don't think so. But first, before we even get to that, we gotta look at Fan Man Yi's ghost. In May of 1999, a teenager named Ah Feng, she went to a Hong Kong police station to tell the officers there that she was haunted by the sight of this ghostly woman. This woman, she said she was in great pain. She had been absolutely mutilated, and Ah Feng would see her every time she closed her eyes. Everywhere she went, this woman was following her. She was in the corner of every room she was in, staring at her, dripping in blood and covered in wounds. Scary, scary stuff. But you mean the police? They were like, ah, sure, here, listen. Come on, 15-year-old girl, stop watching, go watch some cartoons or something, be grand. It was then that the teenager said, no, this is a real person. I know who this is, and I know what happened to them because I was there while it was happening to them. That sure got the cops' attention. And so the cops were now pretty curious, and they asked for more information about the supposed murder that happened. And Ah Feng would lead the police to an apartment in the Kowloon district of Hong Kong. That area, it's full of high-rise apartments, extremely densely populated, and kinda run down. She took the police officers to an apartment there, and inside this extremely run-down and shabby place, there was a Hello Kitty doll. A big one, a soft plushie. She walked over to that big soft plushie, and the police would find sewn up inside of it a human skull.
Oh, shit! What the fuck did I just hear? What the fuck just went through my ears, my brothers and sisters? First of all, the damn girl wasn't lying. She probably was lying about seeing her when she was in the room, seeing her standing in the corner and all that. But she actually, the lady she was describing actually was murdered. And her head is in a damn Hello Kitty doll? How in the fuck and why in the fuck did this happen?
Skull of Fan Man Yi. Fan Man Yi was born in 1975 in Hong Kong to a very poor family, and she was abandoned as a child and she grew up in an orphanage. This orphanage, they shipped you out when you were 15 years of age, and so Fan Man Yi with nowhere else to go, she ended up on the street as a sex worker and she became addicted to drugs. Eventually, she ended up working in a brothel, and she would end up marrying one of her clients, who also happened to be a drug dealer and a pimp. So this story is just getting better and better. Now, this marriage was as spectacular as you can imagine, and violent fights were pretty gosh darn often. So in 1998, when Fan Yi gave birth to a son, and she herself was only 23 years of age, she decided to get the hell out of there. Good. She left him, she took the baby, and she ran, trying to get as far away from everything as she possibly could. Get, but not far enough away, it would seem. She later got a job as a hostess, but she was working in, pretty much the same kind of places she used to work in, so she was pretty much around the exact same people. And it was around this time she met another man, Chan Man Lok. He frequented the nightclub that she worked at, but he was also a member of the Triads, the organized crime. It seems they became friends, or at least friendly, but that is when the shit hit the fan, my friends, because in early 1999, he just happened to have left his wallet out one time in the nightclub, and Fan Man Yi, whoops, took a little bit of money, about $500 US it would be the equivalent of. Now, Fan Man Yi, she was working as a hostess now, and that did not, pay as well nearly as some other things she had done. She had fallen back into drug addiction, and she was just desperate for money. Now, a member of the Triads is probably one of the last people you ever want to steal money from. You'd be better off stealing money from Tony Soprano. Let me tell you that. Swiftly, he found out. He realized that his money was gone, and he knew exactly who had taken it. So he went over, he demanded his money back. Also, he demanded an extra $1,200 Fan Man Yi said yes.
Oh hell no! Goddamn, bro. Yeah, I took your 500, but you want an extra 1,200? Get goddamn. Don't try ass, don't bullshit. I don't know, man. I understand she was desperate and she on drugs. I get all that, but goddamn, like Mike just said, stealing from the triads. I don't even want to be around them motherfuckers, let alone try to take some money from them. Oh.
Of course, she gave him back the money she had stolen, and immediately she was extremely apologetic. But now, so she gave him back the $500, but now he was asking for $1,200 as apology for stealing from him in the first place, which was 2.5 times what she had stolen, and she was desperate for that. So she said, I will pay you back. I promise I will pay you back, but it will take me just a little bit of time to get that much money. She was, not earning much at all. She would need time they would not give her. On the 17th of March 1999, Fan Man Yi was abducted from her own apartment by Chan Man Lok, two of his henchmen, two of these, Chinese mafia henchmen guys, and also Chan Man Lok's underage girlfriend, Ah Feng. They took her to a dingy, shitty little apartment where they knew nobody would ever find her, and the plan was to force her back into the sex trade to repay the debt. And then some, a little bit more than that. These people weren't the kind that would let her go after she'd paid the debt. I don't think they played fair. The plan, however, swiftly changed, as she would be kept in that little apartment for a month.
Damn.
Being horrifically tortured the entire time. They tied her up, they bound her with electrical wire, they beat her, sexually assaulted her, burned her, forced her to eat, well, you can imagine. They would burn straws, plastic straws, so the plastic would melt onto her feet so she couldn't run away. Ah Feng also participated in the torture, hitting her quite a few times, allegedly, as Ah Feng would later say, because it was good fun. And Fan Man Yi was forced to smile and say she enjoyed the beatings, otherwise they would get a lot worse. Not sure how exactly they could with what they were already doing to her, but the human imagination is a wonderful thing. Eventually, after a month of this, Fan Man Yi died. She had been through 4 weeks of the most horrific torture imaginable. Everything you can think of that could be done was done to her, all the while she was kept in some godforsaken apartment in a slum with no hope of escape, just thinking of her baby son back home. Whether now she died of just shock trauma from being subject to horrific abuse for 4 weeks, or it was of a drugs overdose, is unknown. Now those sons of bitches, they claimed she died of a drug overdose, but it would later be impossible to tell. Then,
man, there wasn't no damn drug overdose, and if it was, y'all the one who drugged her up. Now I know she was on drugs, but I feel like if it was a drug overdose, because y'all was probably shooting her with all type of heroin and giving her crack and doing all type of crazy shit, man. Then, bro, I'm just stuck on the fact that this lady had to suffer for 4 fucking weeks, bro, of this shit. 28 days, a whole fucking month, bro. I just, like he said, the human mind can only imagine the torture that this lady went through. All over stealing $500. I mean, stealing $500 is wrong. Yes, she was wrong for that. And she should have been punished, but not in this goddamn type of way.
Her remains were chopped up, boiled, and her skull was sewn inside that big old Hello Kitty plush toy. The rest of her was disposed of in the garbage, and no one knew anything until a month later. Ah Feng, being haunted by Fan Man Yi's ghost, went to the police. Due to the fact it was impossible to tell how Fan Man Yi died, the 3 men were only charged with manslaughter, not murder. And it was said by the jury during the trial, it was a 6-week trial, that they didn't intend to kill her. They just intended to make her wish she was dead, I guess. Ah Feng, she was given immunity, even though she participated in the whole thing. She was given immunity because she testified against them, and all 3 men were sentenced to life in prison, which is 20 years, until the possibility of parole. Stealing $500 led to a month of horrific torture at the hands of the triads, which is probably the most messed up thing I've ever heard. For a month. Who even has the energy to do that for a month? But yeah, that's one of the more disturbing and gruesome ones. Yeah. Oh wait, I have 2 more stories to tell you.
Yeah, Mike, that's one of the most horrible stories you probably never damn told on your damn channel, man. What the fuck, bro? See, that's why I said earlier, I don't even want to be around no triad motherfuckers, let alone goddamn be acquainted with them, or let alone steal money from them. All she had to suffer all that shit over $500 fucking dollars, man. Then when she died, they made it even worse. Chopping her body up, boiling her, throwing her away, and that little girl, it's crazy that that little girl was the goddamn girlfriend of whatever the dude name, I can't remember his name, whatever he, you know what I'm saying, and she underage, she 15, you don't even supposed to be with this little girl anyway, but that's what your ass get, because children gonna tell, they gonna tell what the fuck going on, especially some tragic ass shit like this. I'm glad that you in, well, I can't say that because that sounds stupid as fuck. I ain't glad that you was dating an underage child, a person underage you shouldn't have been doing that with. But I'm just glad that goddamn karma is a bitch and you got what you deserve, and I hope you be in prison for fucking ever. Let's go to the next story.
Gary Ruby was originally from Montreal, Canada, but in the year 2022, he had been living in Hawaii, of all places, if you can believe that, since the 70s. Canadian Gary had spent more of his life on the islands than he had back in Quebec. Gary, he worked for the state, and in 2022 was 73 years of age. No wife or kids, Gary was gay, and he was living in an extremely wealthy gated community of Loa Ridge, just outside of Honolulu. His house in that gated community was worth over 2 million big ones, my friend, so he was like doing just alright, I think. He was generous, he was kind, and he'd worked hard, for everything he had, so things were going just swell. Until... It was in March of 2022 that police rocked up to Gary Ruby's front door. Gary's brother, Lorne Ruby, he said he hadn't heard from his brother, Gary, in 3 weeks. By this stage, and he wanted the police, to do a welfare check on his brother. The last Lorne had heard from Gary was an email he'd sent, a little bit before, and in that email, Gary mentioned that he had found a new love interest who was significantly younger than Gary, a guy named Juan. So the police, they arrived in Gary's, exclusive, wealthy community. They start walking towards his house, towards his front door. But as they're walking in, who should be walking out but another young fella walking out of Gary's house. So, pop quiz, hotshot. Who are you, and is Gary around? Where is he? This guy said, hey, no, my name is Scott. Just kind of chilling here, but maybe you should go up to the house. Go to Gary Ruby's house. A friend of mine is in there, a guy named Juan.
We already know Juan killed him. Pretty simple. But the thing I gotta say is, Juan never loved this man. The age discrepancy, Juan ass, and apparently probably the dude that's with him, it was all about money. They wanted Gary's money. He was an old rich man, and he tried to take advantage of that by acting like he loved him so he can steal that money or obtain that money or whatever the word is. That seemed like what the hell this going to. But let's see.
He might be able to help you out, tell you where Gary is. So the police are thinking, is this the same one that, was in the email? Gary's new boyfriend? So they go up to the door and Juan answers Gary's front door. Juan, by the way, 23 years of age. So yes, significantly younger than 73-year-old Gary. Like 50 years. I would say 50 is pretty significant. Yeah. Anyways, Juan says, nope. Gary ain't here. I've owned this house for 5 years. Well, the police said, actually, no, you kind of can't, because Gary bought this place 2 years ago. So, in 2020. Then Juan, shit, you're right. I actually bought this place. I'm the new owner of this house, though. Gary sold it to me. The police were thinking, So, they took Juan and Scott, and they met with the manager of that exclusive community. And they asked him, and they said, does Juan own this place? Kind of what's going on here? And where's Gary? Right? The property manager, this guy said, Juan showed up and he said he's the new registered owner of that house. And Gary emailed the property manager the deeds and all this kind of paperwork about giving the house to Juan, emailed it, and it was not notarized at all. The police then let Juan and Scott go, but, thinking this was weird as shit, they decided they would kind of search the place the next day and, see what was going on here. So the next day they came back to Gary's house, they went in the front door, they're running around his big, beautiful house, as you can imagine, in the hills of Hawaii. And as they were walking around this house, they noticed the smell. Kind of a weird smell. They were wandering around the house, and then they walked into one of the bathrooms, and something struck them inside that bathroom almost immediately, because it's not something you usually see in the bathroom. It was a bathtub, filled with cement. Sprinkled on top of that were coffee grounds, as in to cover a smell, but they weren't doing a very good job. The police immediately called it in, and, getting a proper search going, smashing through all that cement and concrete was Gary Ruby. His body was at the bottom of the tub. The police, they immediately went to arrest both Juan and Scott, but where were they? Not in Hawaii, that's for sure.
See, we looking at a picture, I think that's them walking right now, but still, man, why did y'all let them go in the first place? So they could escape, possibly. Why y'all ain't let them go in the first place? And then, god damn, bro, you got these people on this damn video, the first story and this story, y'all got some damn nerves. This motherfucker, the police sitting up there talking to you in Gary's house and you talking about, no, it's my house and all that. But the cherry on top is Gary is actually dead in this house at the time that you talking to these fucking police. You got this man in a bathtub under cement? What in the fuck is going on? This is some crazy shit, Mike. Let's go.
They both had managed to jump on a plane and make the 6-hour flight to LA. One Barron was caught, though, pretty swiftly. Juan was caught on board a Greyhound bus that was bound for Mexico, and he was caught in the toilets of these buses. He was hiding in a little crawl space. He had pulled off the plastic coverings on one of the walls and was hiding, like, around the toilet. So the police, Scott, Juan's reported lover, by the way, he was also arrested, but he was released the same day as his arrest without any charge. So Juan, in a police station in Los Angeles, and after initially trying to find ways out of the interrogation room, no joke, that's him looking to see if he can escape, he told what happened and why it happened. Juan told the police that he had met Gary on a dating app, and, they'd hung out in Gary's big mansion, things that got romantic, blah blah blah. Then, one morning, Gary told Juan that he was HIV positive. Juan was pretty shocked and taken aback by this. This is, again, what he told the police. Then they had breakfast, and Juan saw Gary choke slightly on his Cocoa Pops. So Juan decided to make him choke more than slightly, took out his belt, and then strangled Gary Ruby. Then, not really knowing what to do, he dragged Gary's body into that bathtub, slit Gary's wrists to make it look like it had been, he had tried to end it himself, and then poured cement into the bathtub and covered it up with coffee grounds. Like, did he think the police would believe that Gary Ruby poured cement on his own dead body? Gary's family now would say that, well, they didn't know and they don't think Gary had HIV, and that more likely, and probably what is a lot more likely, is that Juan planned to, he was going to do this. He was planning to just kill Gary and take all of his stuff regardless, but who actually knows? It's possible. That all happened in March of 2022, and as of March of 2023, Juan Barron is still awaiting trial.
Man, goddamn, these are some crazy ass stories, y'all. What the fuck? This man, bro. My main takeaway from this is, for real, why is that other dude not charged? Well, I guess he ain't charged, but he still should be charged for something. I'm guessing he ain't charged because he was not there when the murder actually was committed and all that. Okay, I get that. But he still was an accomplice. I'm pretty sure he helped put that cement in the damn tub with Juan. So I feel like he should have did some jail time too. For real, man. And there's one more thing I gotta say about this whole goddamn shit right here that I'm forgetting right now. And let me think about it because I'm amped up looking at these cases, man. This shit is crazy from Mike, y'all. The second thing that I want to say for real is, one, how long you thought you was just gonna sit in this man's house while his body is in the tub? Like, how long you thought this was gonna last forever without you being caught? Like, it's one thing you would have killed them and then left and tried to flee and run away, but you in this man's house like you just gonna live with this bitch forever. Like, the damn lights ain't gonna get cut off next month when Gary not around to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? Like rent ain't coming up. Like, who gonna pay the rent one? Who gonna pay the water bill one? Like, how long do you think you gonna be able to just sit up in this house and everything gonna be good one? That's fucking crazy, man. Let's get to the third one, my people. The worst motive.
And now, for the final shocking crime and insane reasons why, and I really do just want to say at the outset, distressing content warning for this story. The date was June 7th, 2000, and the place was just outside of Spartansburg, northwest South Carolina. That afternoon, 39-year-old Judy Southern was returning home after a day's work. A couple of minutes after walking in the door of her nice house, she tried to call her husband, Alan, at his work number, but he had already left for the day and would be home soon himself. However, when Alan arrived home, I'm talking minutes, a handful of minutes after his wife Judy, he pulled into the driveway and he saw her laying in the grass in their front yard. Judy had been shot. She was barely conscious by this point and slipping fast. Alan immediately called 911.
What's she bleeding from, sir? She's been shot. Who shot her? I do not have a clue. So when I got there, there's a bullet wound in her right lower abdomen. Does she know who shot her? She gave me a name of somebody, Barry. He was waiting for her in the house.
By the time the EMTs arrived, though, she was gone. Judy was a mail carrier, and after, a long day's work, arriving home in the afternoon, she walked into her house and was immediately shot in the lower abdomen. She ran out of the house away from whoever was in there with a gun, and in shock after being shot, the only number she could think to call was her husband's work number, but he had already left work. And so then she just lay there bleeding out in her front yard. So, what the shit?
What the fuck?
There was a couple of clues, and one Alan even said himself was the name Barry. That was all she could say as she was, really quickly slipping away when he arrived. Barry. The name Barry. So the police investigation began, and they went into the Southern home, and they found out that, there's a lot of evidence left behind, as in whoever had done this, whoever had shot Judy, had been in that house for, I'm talking, hours. They had been taking their time. They found beer cans just lying around. Their 5-year-old son, who was not home at the time, they found his video game system still on and running. Somebody had just taken a shower, and someone had also, this person, used a sex toy. They found that's still sticky. Someone had been having a hell of a good time waiting for other people to return. The phone lines had been cut. Somebody was waiting to ambush people. Judy. They also found cigarette butts all over the place. It was a brand different to what Judy smoked and what Alan smoked. 9mm shell casings were found on the ground, so although they didn't have a murder weapon, they knew exactly what type had been used. And
so this motherfucker, now this is one of the craziest home invasions I ever heard. This motherfucker broke into their house and was chilling in that bitch like it was his. He in that bitch playing video games, getting off sex toys. He in that bitch taking showers. He probably had him a bowl of cereal. Like, this motherfucker in their house chilling. Who the fuck is Barry? He had been known that lady or something. He had been some kind of stalker type motherfucker, something. But let's see.
2 shots had been fired, one that hit Judy, another one missed her as she was running. And one more thing the cops found. A note right beside Judy. It read this. This is for my wife, Melanie. I love you. Sorry I had to end like this. I leave everything that I have to my loving, caring wife, Jonathan. The surname, it began with a B, but it could have been Barry, but it was pretty illegible. Now the police immediately went to the spouse, Alan, as they usually do, and they learned, as they also tend to do in these kind of cases, the marriage between Judy and Alan wasn't great. They were both having affairs on either side. They both had been shouting and having arguments a lot more lately. They hadn't been sleeping in the same bed for a while, and Judy told her sister just a couple of days before she was murdered they were planning on separating. So, as you can guess, life insurance was still, gonna go to Alan. Was this a case of...
I don't think this is a case of life insurance. I could possibly. I ain't gonna say probably because I really don't think that this was that case. I don't think that her actual husband had nothing to do with this. I just got that feeling.
Well, maybe. But on that note, Melanie and Jonathan, those are the two names, and there just so happened to be a Melanie and a Jonathan Binney who lived 3 miles down the road from the Southern home. Alan told the police that neither him nor his wife knew them at all. They had never interacted with them, never met them, spoke to them, anything like that. So the police were thinking, maybe Alan was behind it. Had he hired this Jonathan character to kill his wife? Nope. In fact, learning more about Jonathan, lads, we will come across probably the most disturbing crime motive. Yeah. So the police went to Jonathan's home to speak with him, and they couldn't find him. Knocking, nobody there. They then, as he was their person of interest, they began to search everywhere for him. They had helicopters with thermal imaging, canine units, surrounding fields and woods, surrounding Jonathan's house. Had he, now gone on the run? They found nothing. They then went back to Jonathan's house the next day, and this time they found him. He had been hiding in his house the entire time, hiding in the basement. And when they came across him, Jonathan was topless. And he had 6 nicotine patches all over him, which Jonathan would say was an attempt to end his own life. Better off just smoking cigarettes, you'll probably kill yourself quicker. So the police, they took Jonathan in, and by this point, they had his DNA, they had his fingerprints, they had his handwriting on that note. It was clear as day he was their man, but why? Jonathan told them why. This is really messed up. At the time of the shooting, Jonathan Binney was out on bond after sexually abusing his 3-month-old daughter. He was going to go to prison for that, and he knew it. He said he did not want to go to prison as a child molester because he knew that in prison he would be somebody's bitch. So he wanted to go to prison as a killer. So Jonathan chose the Southern family completely at random. That day he just drove. He was driving down the road, looking just picked a house at random, went over, he found entry into their house, he hung out there for hours, and he was going to kill the first person that walked in, be it Judy, Alan, or their 5-year-old son. Whoever walked in the door, he was going to shoot because he wanted to be a killer. 2 years later, Jonathan was convicted of Judy's murder and also of abusing his daughter. And he, no messing about, was sentenced to death. So he still went to prison and is still a child abuser. So I don't know where this plan was going at all. 20 years later, he still sits behind bars in prison. Jonathan appealed the death sentence and so was sentenced to just life without parole, and he later, they later identified as a trans woman, Taylor Alex Cross. But they're still in prison to this very day with probably the most despicable motive I've ever come across. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, Mike, you're probably right. That damn motive, the reason why you killed that lady is the most craziest. What the fuck, huh? What? You killed this lady because you wanted to go to prison as a known murderer. Like, you wanted to walk in there, what you in time for? What you did? Why you in here? Oh, man, I'm a murderer. Like, what the fuck, bro? That's why you took her life? And, well, I can't really say which one is most sick. the murder or the molestation of a 3-month-old child. And not only just a child, this your daughter. That shit sick too. This dude just sick. What the fuck, bro? But to take this lady life, man, I'm done, man. You took this lady life, bro. Seriously, man. You took this damn lady life to try to make your life better in prison? I don't fucking know, cause he was gonna end up being somebody, bitch. Because now it is true that prison, hey, people in prison, them motherfuckers who don't bullshit in prison, them prisoners who don't bullshit, they do not like fucking rapists and especially molesters. They don't like that shit. So yeah, he was gonna get his due. But like Mike just said, your ass still went to prison for the same charges. Ain't like just cause you did that, it was gonna erase what you had did to your daughter. That shit was just stupid, y'all. Yeah, these are fucking insane. All three of them. Mike ain't lying. These are some insane crimes, and the reasons behind the crimes even worse. The damn triads doing, not even just killing the lady, they doing all this shit for $500 because of $500 that she gave back, not to mention. And y'all did all that? The second one, why in the hell you gonna goddamn the second one when the cement and shit? What the fuck you doing all that for, bro? You got the audacity to still be in this man's house while he dead and the police talking to you in the damn tub. Like, woo wee. I'm so glad that I came back with y'all one more time today. This was a great video from Mike, y'all. I hope he keep doing top threes. I hope this is something that he keep doing. Mike, if you're listening out there, or if anybody listening out there who can talk to Mike, and just tell him, Mike, keep doing top threes. I love this format, man. It felt good on the time, and it just felt good how all three of the stories he gave us, and he still gave us great details behind them. Yes, Mike, keep doing this type shit, man. I agree with my people. What I need y'all to keep doing is keep on coming back for another episode. And I hope y'all keep on hitting that like button, commenting, subscribing, and all that shit right there, man. Gonna let y'all go now. But before I let y'all go now, you know I gotta say this now, because it's real talk. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.